Alright, g'day guys, Charlie here. So basically in this video I'm going to be outlining Mercy positioning and basically how to position yourself not only within team fight, just positioning in general. And so to understand positioning you need to know basically I guess what are front lines and what are back lines and so forth. So here I've just drawn up a quick little sketch on fucking Photoshop. I was about to say Paint, and so I got red team, blue team, just separating the two teams by colors, and so basically this red box here is your red team front line, blue team front line, and so your front lines are your damage dealers, your tanks. Basically, everyone but Mercy. That's pretty much it. I mean, of course, it can vary, you know, with like things like Symmetra and stuff. Sometimes they'll hang back because they'll just get fucking one shot. But basically, this is kind of generally how you should view it when playing Mercy. So you've got your two front lines, and this orange line in the middle is basically the skirmishing line. Basically, where all the fighting's happening, and where all the carnage and death is happening. And these big green circles are your back lines, and basically that's where Mercy is, and she'll be hanging back out of the skirmish, healing people. In an ideal scenario, obviously, it's not going to always be like that. You know. And it won't always be as clear as frontline, backline, exactly like that. Sometimes the judgments are a lot harder to make on what is your front line and where your back line is, and if you even have a front line, which is something I'll go into further very soon. So now that you know this, we'll jump over to this here. Just zoom in a bit. Alrighty. So this is Numbani. And say we're defending. Let's get our fucking pin out. If we can fucking find it. There it goes, hidden in there. And it's probably a bit too big, so we will bring down our diameter. What about this? Alright. So, say we're defending. Maybe the card's somewhere about here. Oh, actually, we will copy this layer just so we can delete shit later on. Alright. Where was it? Here we go. Okay. Say this black dot's the card, and you're defending. We have colors. Green. No, first we'll actually do front line. Okay, so say you're the red team. Whoop, we got red. You've got your players here, Soldier, Junkrat, you know, Reinhardt at the front, something like that. Heck, maybe even Hanzo over here, or a sniper, and maybe your Torb is over there, okay? Something like that. Might not exactly like this, but in this situation, this is what it's like. So your ideal positioning for this would be, we'll change over so we have green for us. So obviously, all the skirmishing and fighting will be happening over here. Actually, we're chucking some blue. So we got some people over here, you know. They're firing shots, and this is kind of the skirmish line, so we're chucking some orange. So, this is where all the fighting's going, battle's happening, Reinhardt's got his shield up, both Reinhardts have their shield up, so forth. Your ideal position would be about here. And it basically gives you equal distance from everyone. And why would you want that? Because, say, scenario A, we have maybe a tracer coming from the side here. And she blinks in, there, blinks in, there, starts firing on you. You're like, well, fuck, where do I go? You would probably... what are we doing? We're going over to colors. You probably try and dash over to... Probably over here. Because that's where you assume the sentry will be. We'll say the sentry's over there. So you'll dash over to there. Because the sentry will be targeting. Or even if that's like a Widow, maybe to one of these two. Say, Widow and Hanzo. You dash over to one of them. She dashes... Say she dashes... does a third dash and dashes over to you there. So she's over there and you're over there. Then you will dash probably something over here. And basically what you're doing is trying to continuously distance yourself. Obviously that's, you'd assume that's normal, but that's kind of what you're wanting to do. Because it gives you multiple options to dash. If you're sitting, say, let's go bring that all back. Say she has come in. She's coming in. And you're not actually over there. You've been silly and you've positioned yourself over here. And so she can just dash in all the way over to here and start firing at you and then just blink back. This kind of pinces you because you don't really have many options, because you're in the line of fire of these guys, so that's automatic damage to you, and then she's got you flanking from this side here. You just want to kind of keep your options open for dashing. That's the first reason why you'd position yourself over there. Can we delete that there? Is that going to fuck anything up? Nope. Okay. Alright. And so, being positioned here, you can comfortably heal everyone, because you don't know where damage is going to come from. They might all of a sudden just have someone, where we go? Someone come from that side. You can instantly heal this person over here. Or, you know, if this person comes around here, starts attacking that person, you can instantly heal them over there. So it keeps your options open with healing, keeps your options open with dashing, and it also keeps you, this is another point, it keeps you safe from the line of fire, because obviously you're not in immediate fire range. These people will literally have to walk out this far to be able to get shots onto you. Because this corner here, it kind of blocks you. It's like a... Well, it's obviously just defense. Oh, shit. Is that what we're going to do? Yeah. So, yeah. Basically, these people are skirmishing within themselves, and you're kind of out of it in your own circle. It's a shame that you can only go back once. Alright. What was the next point? So basically, yeah. Say this was all shifted. Oh shit, wrong one. If we say this was all shifted further around this corner. Oh, if we fucking pick it up. Now, this shifted all around this corner. And then so you had to move up a bit closer, say about here. The reason why you want to stay kind of hugged to this corner, like this, is because you don't really need to see what's around this corner. The way you judge what's around that corner and how big of a threat it is you're looking at your allies' HP. If their HP is starting to get low, that means more than likely that threat is pretty serious, because your allies will die in a couple of hits, and regardless of the situation, if your allies die with a couple of hits, and even if they're in the same situation, that's pretty dangerous, because that's like a coin toss, basically. Unless you're keeping track of the ultimates and so forth, but probably in the early stages of playing, you probably won't be keeping track of that shit. So use your allies' health bars as a gauge, also the numbers as well. Say if we had it like this, and you had 2 people there. Obviously, you're down 1 player. That means your front lines aren't as strong. Just being down 1 player just reduces your damage output or your defensive output by a lot. Even if you say you remove that, that instantly means that you don't have a dash back towards this way. Or if you go like this and we shift this over here, that's also just as bad, because sure, your front line's good, but your flanks are open, you know? You could have someone come from here, someone come from here, someone come from here, someone come from up there. And basically at that point, you'd probably want to fall back and make this area your front line. And you would probably shift back here. Just because in this current situation right now, if you're sitting here, you can't see these flanks. You need to be able to see these flanks. That's kind of your sub job as Mercy, keeping on the flanks. So if you are, we'll cover this dot up here. Oh no. What we'll do is we'll just shift it. Oh, that's not going to shift it. Alright. So if you are over here and say, everything had, no, we'll keep the cut there, and we will select that, select that, select that, select that. Alright, the cart's still there. How do we do this? There we go. Alright. So, you pull all your guys back to here. This gives the enemies, of course, a lot of leeway room to push around this corner. But what it does, it allows Mercy to keep an eye on the flanks while your front line is still maintained. Because Mercy, as her job, is to keep an eye on these flanks, because what is she doing? She's just passively healing. 9 times out of 10. Of course, damage boosting, but in this situation, you wouldn't really be damage boosting that often, because you've only got 3 players here. So while you're keeping on these flanks, look at all these multiple flank routes, that means they're technically being covered. Not being covered by damage, but they're being covered by visuals. And so that allows your team to basically go ham, doing the best they can to defend this section here, the cart, while the flanks are still covered. And so this kind of concept applies to most areas, because most areas do have some form of flank or, you know, a small little behind route. So as Mercy, you kind of ideally want a microphone so you can call these out. So you go, oh, you know, someone's coming around the flank. So that allows your team, you know, you might have to do something like this and fall it back like that to try and cover both sides. But ideally, the flanker will see, hey, free Mercy, gonna dive in, and hopefully your guys will react fast enough to kill him within a few seconds and then rejoin this fight up here. Because this only doesn't work when you've got multiple flankers. You know, say you've got a tracer coming from here and a tracer coming from here. That's gonna, you know, fuck shit up. But at that point, you know, you're kind of outnumbered regardless of flanking. So yeah, keeping track of numbers and also keeping track of where your numbers are is very crucial. And so keep an eye on your flanks. It doesn't mean you're just keeping an eye on the flanks. You're also keeping on the front line as well. That's basically a part of being Mercy, being able to multitask. You know, heal up your allies. Look at. You're making so many judgment calls. You're judging. Are you going to be able to sustain this fight? Are you going to be able to win it, or is it just going to be kind of like a constant mishmash where you're having to keep switching healing? Sometimes if you go to Reinhardt that's up, not much damage has been taken on his shield. It gives you more opportunity to look at these flanks or, reposition yourself, so forth. Another thing that does help with these flanks is sound. So basically, we'll shift this back over here. So we've got the scenario. And you are sitting about here. So realistically, this is probably a bit dangerous where you've positioned yourself, but say we do have people over here. Basically, footsteps in the game, you can hear them. You can't hear your ally footsteps, you only hear enemy footsteps. So if you hear footsteps coming from a flank, you know an enemy's coming around that flank. Also, something to note is each footstep is quite unique, especially Junkrat. Junkrat, his is very distinct because of the fact that I think he has a wooden leg. Either way, you can hear him limping. You'll have one normal footstep and one kind of off footstep, normal, off, and you can obviously hear, okay, that's a Junkrat. I think, yeah, like, pretty much everyone has their own unique. Some are a bit harder to grab than others, but you can pick up most of them, and even if not, you can still kind of hear flanks. You can hear them coming around the corner. So you can ideally hear people coming from in here. You'll be able to hear them coming through here. You can even hear them coming through here, and you'll possibly even hear them through here. I'm not through. Oh, Jesus, that's bad English. Through. Fucking hell. Kill me now. But yeah, audio is it's quite clear, so I'm pretty sure you will be able to hear it from here. So that does give you a bit of heads up to call on your allies. So that's also another way of keeping an eye on flanks without actually visually being able to see them. Because say this guy over here, he needs health, right? And you need to come in closer to heal him. You can still keep an eye on these side flanks by using audio, which can be quite useful. But obviously you do want to be able to visually see beforehand or even during, because visual cues can be, I don't know, some people actually find audio cues better, some people find visual cues better, but visually being able to see what's around the corner, because you can actually see numbers. There might be two flankers coming around at the same time, and that might off-put your decision making. If someone's skirmishing, if you hear someone skirmishing over here, you don't actually know who's skirmishing, like which is ally and which is enemy, things like that. So it's very key, especially if you hear, say, Reaper footsteps. You're like, oh shit, I need to get out of here. So you would call it and you just fucking dash the fuck away. Because what you want to do is just get out of the situation. You probably dash over to here, because say if a Reaper came around here and these guys might have been a bit closer, he might try and ult them, and then you can just go in and res them. Ideal scenario, obviously. So yeah, hopefully this helped you guys. This is kind of on the fly, very quick. I'll put down a few bullet points, but it's kind of a bit willy-nilly. But yeah, when you're healing as Mercy, you just kind of always want to have like a plan B. So always have routes to go to, people to dash to, and if you don't, always have corners to go behind and things like that, just to minimize visuals on you. That's also another thing, because if the enemy spot you, And if they have a microphone and say, oh, Mercy's over here, and people can capitalize on that information, and it can be quite dangerous for you. And saying that you always want to, keep moving, you never want to stand still, just because of obviously like skill shots and things like that. Standing still just basically gives someone a free headshot because you're not moving, you're stationary. Okay, I feel like I'm rambling now, so I think I might just end the video here. But thanks guys for watching, and catch you later.